What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you another World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This time it is a standard battle on Malinovka, otherwise known as Kampinovka, and it is going to be a tier 10 replay sent in to me by Mr. Jingles, part of the NET clan. Now, he is not a tier 10, but he is a top tier artillery. I do believe this is my first time doing a commentary on the tier 8 French artillery, the Bat.Chat.155, which has a 4-round clip with approximately, he is certainly using a mod to zoom out farther. I don't know what this mod is called, but I am familiar with it. But anyway, back to what I was saying, 4-round clip with 1250 damage per round. And 95 penetration. Our penetration doesn't come into effect too much on artillery, unless you're considering if you're firing at light tanks or French tanks. But I digress. The team's rather odd. A large number of scouts per, well, for both teams. I was going to say per team, but you know what I mean. And I rhyme some of the time. But getting back to the game, the enemy team having a slightly perceived artillery advantage, but that's about it. Mr. Jingles' team having more of a tank advantage, although immediately losing a tier 9 tank and losing 2 of their scouts, both 1375s, and the enemy team only losing a tier 4 T50. So rather bad start for his team, I'm going to have to say. And hopefully he can lead this target just right. And there we go, missing the shell, but another round will be loaded very shortly. I would say that's approximately a 3 or 4 second reload, going to where he thought that vehicle was and pretty much guiding it just right. That T-58, that Type 58, sorry, getting itself killed by artillery fire. Good playing, well, just good leading the target there. Good arty play there from Mr. Jingles. The enemy scouts already on the hill doing their part to essentially stop any push, which there is currently no push for Mr. Jingles' team going to the hill. Not quite sure what I think about that. Honestly, it's really exposing at least the S-51. The S-51 is out there all by his lonesome, and if those scouts decide to push down that hill, or if a scout decides to push through the town, it's over for that S-51. That's all there is to it. Mr. Jingles saying his team is very stupid, calling him a bunch of campers. Yes, campers can be a cancer in this game. Getting a bit ahead of myself, I suppose. But that's not really, honestly, there is a reason they call this map Kampinovka. And it does bring out the campiest and camp people. Yeah. Anyway, this is the interesting thing about the Bat.Chat is it does have a turret system. So if you are thinking about any sort of skills, you should definitely get that turret rotation stability skill. I can't recall what it is called. But there is a skill for your gunner, I believe. Man, it has been way too long since I played this game. But there is a crew skill where you can do that. He's taking his shot. He's probably going to fire his last shot right here just to empty his clip and reload. There we go. Called it right as he did it. And his team doing a little bit better about watching that eastern flank, that hill approach, so that the enemy team does not simply roll all over them, though the enemy team doesn't seem all too eager to go that way either. Though there are 2 scouts and 1 medium tank, I'm not quite sure what that medium tank is. It could be an E50 or a Patton. It's hard to say considering he is not looking at it. However, thanks to the magics of replays, I can force the look. So let's see if I can tell. No, replay, you are not working with me. So free cam, while it lets you look everywhere on the map, if you are not looking at them in the match with artillery, I cannot see them apparently. I learned something new today. He is still looking right here, trying to help out his team. A heavy tank pushing up, so possibly going to have some spotting here, but the long reload of the Bat.Chat really coming into effect. I'm not quite sure how many seconds this is, but it certainly seems more than a minute at this point. I would say probably a good possible 90 seconds. I might be vastly overestimating it, but it does seem like it takes an eternity. But in all fairness, it does have a 4-round clip, so I guess they have to balance it somehow. Now, this FV4202, the tier 10 British medium, a heavy hitter for their team on that hill, getting himself spotted, though not anymore apparently, and readjusting his approach to aim at these E50s, which are coming towards his base and pretty much compromising his security. He's got to watch out for number 1, making sure that the enemy artillery does not get a spot on him. That E50 getting hit hard, the 704 managing to eliminate him, and the other E50 lost in battle, apparently sliding off the side into the water while attempting not to get shot. I'm not quite sure exactly how he managed that, but we all have those moments where you do something you regret. You drive a little too recklessly and you drive off a cliff, or you drive into the water and you feel like a complete idiot when it happens. Ooh, nice hit on that Pat, and 612 damage in a track immediately using a repair kit. So there goes that Patton's repair, and he is just desperately trying to run to this church, get behind some cover and not get himself killed. It seems that Mr. Jingles here not really looking towards, I guess he thinks the Patton is still charging forward, possibly, though he is now noticing the heavy push to the south. And I do mean quite literally heavy. Heavy tanks are coming right from the southern approach, an M103 and an IS-3. Working in tandem, showing a good amount of teamwork there, but the M103 charging forward because he feels the urge to get underway. This artillery shell going to track him, take him down to near death, and then the IS-7 taking the final shot. So Mr. Jingles to 1 kill. He has 1 shot left in his clip, and possibly going to get up. Trees going down, and there comes a scout. Again, compromising his ability to stay safe. He is going to prioritize the scout, and hopefully he can get a shot. We'll see exactly how good of an artillery player he is if he can hit this little light tank. That is one of the best challenges for an arty player. Ooh, the light tank getting very predictable, and there we go, an eliminating shot. That light tank no longer able to scout anything for his team. Now, Mr. Jingles, his team is still down by 1 tank, though the match has evened up quite a bit. 2 tier 10s on his team, 2 tier 10s on their team. And it's not exactly what I would call even, but his team has a chance now. Despite that very dismal opening where they lost to tier 9 right off the bat, and they were doing so poorly earlier, they are coming back because they did not do what many teams do, which is, honestly, a lot of teams, when they're losing, they start to do really stupid things. Kind of people start going Leroy Jenkins and charging out in the middle of the field saying, well, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die in a blaze of glory, instead of kind of staying back and trying to win it for their team. In my opinion, if your team is down on tanks, it is the enemy's team's responsibility to push. If you're losing, you should not be the team that's pushing. That's all there is to it in my mind. Now, if you disagree, that's your right, but this IS-7 rapidly eliminated, the playing field getting even very quickly there. Oh, and that E50, I did not know that he died at full health. Wow, that is a sacrifice the enemy team cannot and will actually probably end up costing them this match. Ooh, a very nice shot, direct hit. The Tiger 2 getting tracked and possibly going to die to Mr. Jingles here. No, the shot going way far. Mr. Jingles kind of aiming for the front of the tank, increasing his chances of hitting. But if you saw my Ask Spang Questions response 3, or whatever I called it, round 3 response, that's what I called it. I said, if you want to go for the damaging, the critical shots on artillery, you aim for the top of the turret. At least that's what I do, and it works for me very well most of the time, though it does increase the chance you will miss. Mr. Jingles obviously going for the better chance of hitting approach, but with that approach, you are not going to do as much damage per shot. You aren't going to get those 1 shots. Well, you're not as likely to get those 1 shots. Now, here we go, the Phoebe 4202 pushing up. I have no idea how these tanks really perform since I fight them so rarely, and I do not own one. But considering the fact they are not very common, I would assume that they are not all that impressive. Honestly, if they were good tanks, a lot of people would be going for them. That's just logic. If I'm wrong, then people need to wise up and start going down that tank tree and start going for that tank if it really is good. If not, then I think we see it. Honestly, I'm just going to assume it's not, due to the fact, like I said, not that many people own it, and you don't see them that often. I mean, you see tons of the good tanks. You see lots of IS-7s because people know exactly how good the IS-7 can be. Now, that T-95 going up the middle, getting himself eliminated by the 704, and Mr. Jingles up to 3 kills here. Now, I did see the post-game stats, so I know exactly how this match turns out, and I will have a few things to say on it after the match is over with, but I will not spoil anything for you this time. We will see exactly how this plays out, and I will continue to commentate on it to the best of my ability. Still on that reload, man, this thing certainly pays for its 4-round clip, does it not? That 4202 certainly hurting at this point, and his team really in a good position to win it. Mr. Jingles going to do his best to get a shot on this 4202. And we will see exactly, nope. Did manage to track him, however, and I do believe his repair kit's already used up. Either that or he might have just used it. I'm not quite sure how exactly fast the repair speed is on that crew, but Mr. Jingles not getting the final shot. Ooh, very unfortunate. The 704 managing to eliminate him. The Patton finally coming out from hiding, trying his best to charge forward. Oh, wow. The GW Tiger evening things up quite a bit. Now all Mr. Jingles' team has is 2 artillery pieces and a scout tank versus a Patton and 2 artillery pieces. So I guess it's pretty even. The S-51 eliminated. Mr. Jingles still on the reload. If I were him in this match, I would be thinking my team has lost this at this point. Oh my goodness. Holy, wow. This is not working out all that well at all for Mr. Jingles. He's got to hide. He's got a really long reload, and we'll see exactly how well he can hold out here. This Patton well, honestly, it might be the death of him. I do know how this match turns out, but I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. Does he live? Does he... what is a lucky shot? Oh, what's a lucky shot? What a lucky shot. The T-71 apparently getting ammo racked. Not lucky shot. Someone calling him a noob. And Mr. Jingles, I'm assuming he has 6th sense, still not spotted. This Patton going for the capture rather than going for the kill. No, he is going to hunt down, or at least attempt to hunt down Mr. Jingles, who almost is reloaded here, and down to the last 3 minutes, 43 seconds of the match. Very good shot, very good aiming of the, well, there is a lot of luck involved there, let's be honest. Artillery always incorporates a bit of luck. No 6th sense has been indicated. Either he just plain doesn't have it, or yeah, they didn't spot me. So that does indicate he does have 6th sense. So, team chat, apparently someone chatting out loud and not being quite wise about discussing strategy. But it's a very even match now. Mr. Jingles doing the smart thing, reloading, though there are only about 3 minutes left. I would assume at this point one of the enemy artillery pieces has moved up in support. And if I had to guess, I'd say it'd be the Object 261. Mr. Jingles having 4 kills. That Object 261 having 4 kills as well. And the GW Tiger having 1. So it's turned into a battle of the artillery pieces. Mr. Jingles doing what I think he's entitled to, though I wouldn't be making quite the same decision here, is he's kind of hanging back in his base, although it looks like he might be going on the offensive at this point. But he is fully entitled to sit on his base and draw this match out. He is fully entitled to a draw, being that he is on the team with the disadvantage. I will say it once, I will say it 1,000 times. A draw is better than a loss in my book. I rather deny someone a win than go into a battle where the odds are not in my favor. So I think he's making quite the wise decision here, waiting at least for his reload, but he might be going on the offensive, playing a bit risky, and that's his right. He certainly has the ability to win this. We have already seen him demonstrate he has the skill. He has luck on his side, and he's been spotted now, so he better get underway. Not even going into overhead aim, just going to take that shot, getting the kill on that GW Tiger. Apparently that GW Tiger getting a shot off beforehand as well. Falling very short. Wow, that 261 has moved up. I called on that one quite well. And the GW Tiger, he's just, wow. I did not predict that GW Tiger would move up, but Mr. Jingles doing the smart thing, dodging back and forth. Apparently that missed shot was from that 261, the shot coming from behind him. At least that's what I perceived to have happened. There we go. Mr. Jingles winning it for his team. Very well played. Top gun going to Mr. Jingles and his Bat.Chat.155. A very interesting artillery match. And honestly, that's something that's kind of hard to do. Now, I will say this one thing. He did get Top Gun. He did get the most experience for his team. I'm completely English. How you do it? I should know being American, but I don't. And to all you Brits or true English speakers out there, I apologize that my English offends you. But anyway, like I was saying, doing very well for himself in terms of kills, certainly being the reason his team won and getting the maximum, well, the top experience for his team quite clearly. I think he got 927 or something. But on the flip side of that, I will say this much. He got just below 4,000 damage in his artillery piece. And for me, using higher damage artillery pieces such as the GW Type E and the S51, I consider that a very average match in terms of damage dealt. It's, for me, a good match in my GW Type E is 5,000 or 6,000 damage. That is a good match. And an absolutely stellar match is 7,000 damage and above. And I do have a couple of those matches, but I digress. Mr. Jingles certainly being the reason his team won, demonstrating that he is quite the capable artillery player, certainly leading shots very professionally, working very well for his team, and certainly being the only reason his team won. Now, there were some things that came into play on that. The E50 certainly if he had not drowned himself, it's quite possible he would have been killed on his approach to Mr. Jingles' base, but it is also possible that if that E50 had survived, things would have turned out very, very differently. You lose a full health tier 9 vehicle in a tier 10 match where there are only 2 tier 10s per team, it's going to hurt your team. So very fortunate on that account, and certainly well played by Mr. Jingles. Now, if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you got a replay, check the description for instructions on how to submit that. And this has been Spangle. I'm signing off.